On Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, Jenkins LTS 2.462.3 was released. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the changes in that release and things that are getting ready to happen right now in October of 2024. My name is Darin Pope. I'm a developer advocate at CloudBees, and along with me today, I have Mark Wade. Mark, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Darin.
So here we are at the beginning of a month and the end of a cycle, to where we'll be going to the end of a month at the beginning of a cycle.
Right.
October is one of those months.
Complicated series of things, series of ways of saying that we're going to do 2 releases in one calendar month, and that's very rare.
Probably once a year?
I think it's even less than that.
Okay.
Because with 28 days of separation between releases, getting inside a month, 2 inside a month is not common.
Most times it's 28 days. We'll get to that too. So here we are, 2.462.3, the last one of this LTS line.
Mm-hmm.
And we're expecting lots of changes in this release, right?
Right. Well, no, not really. Sorry, you're wrong.
Okay, good.
Mark failed.
I'm glad I'm wrong. So let's go ahead and take a look at the release notes. If you haven't been there, now I'm zoomed in a little bit, so you may have to go. You may or may not see a hamburger. If you don't see the hamburger, you'll just see a download link. So I'm going to go to the hamburger, click on download, and then we have LTS changelog. In fact, I'm going to zoom down one so it looks a little more normal. So we have the stable and the weeklies. Now, just in case people haven't looked and try to understand what's going on with Jenkins, like we're talking weeklies and stables and numbers and all these things. What happens during an LTS release, Mark?
Yeah, so Jenkins long-term support releases are delivered every 4 weeks. We select a Jenkins weekly release as a baseline, and then we stabilize that thing by adding additional backports if needed and release it as .1. So 2.462.1, for instance. 4 weeks later, we do another release, 2.462.2, based on the .1. 4 weeks after that, we do 2.462.3. Each of those LTS releases intended to keep just incremental changes from the preceding release. And then after that 12-week cycle, we choose a new baseline and do it again.
Which is what the end of the month is. Again,
correct.
We'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's go and take a look at the changelog for this release. This was also a security release, which let's save that just for a little bit later. Because again, this was a smaller release, which is what you want in .3, right? You're sort of gliding in, you're on final approach. It's like, okay, there shouldn't be a whole lot of excitement on a final approach. Mm-hmm. Let's just put it that way. So let's go from bottom up.
Okay.
Bug fix. By the way, I'm still getting used to this new layout.
Right.
I like it, but I'm getting used to it.
And that's sometimes the way it is with layout changes. Agreed.
Yeah. So bug fix the appearance of the plugin manager action dropdowns. Also add an escape hatch for authenticated user access to resource URL. This one, I believe, taking a look at it, we'll see in an upgrade guide in just a moment. It used to be there. It was taken out and it was put back.
Right. And thank you. You detected a problem. I'm actually kind of proud of that. You detected a problem, and it's been fixed.
Well, let's go and take a look at that because it is in the upgrade guide. So,
right.
Okay, number one, if you've never taken a look at the upgrade guide when you upgrade, you're doing yourself a disservice. Always look at the upgrade guide.
Right.
And by the way, if you're coming from let's say you were reasonably close, even at 440.1, we can argue if that's close or not, but let's say it's close. Mm-hmm. You would still need to go through the upgrade guides for everything from where you are to where you're going.
Right.
Big warning.
Those upgrade guides are written very carefully and very intentionally. So they are not verbose, they're not a lot of reading. Please read the upgrade guide for every version that you cross. Absolutely.
So in this one, that issue the bug fix we were talking about is evidently it had been removed based on this issue before. I didn't look at the issue. Mm-hmm. And it was put back because I guess there was wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Well, because we really don't like removing functionality. Mm. So whether it's direct or not, it's unhealthy for us. Users expect that Jenkins keeps compatibility for them.
Right. So it's been added but not added. Right? I mean, technically. So used to, this was the default. Allow authenticated user was true. Correct?
I
I would have to think so, right? Because I'm assuming if you're going to set it to true, that means it's false otherwise.
Yeah, so I would think the default is false.
Yes.
And you set it to true to change the default behavior.
I'm saying that the previous default behavior was probably true.
Huh, really?
That's my guess. I don't know. I haven't dug into it. Here, we have a minute. Let's take a look at the issue.
Let's look at it, sure.
Ooh, bright light. Accessed. Okay, that's not very useful. Comes from this one. Let's see. Change made for break scripted downloads with wget. Okay. So my guess is it was. I don't know. Alan, if you're watching this, send us a message.
I think it was. I think the default in 2.462.2 was false.
False. Okay.
And the reason that it's now allowed to be set to true is that way you can adjust the behavior to allow access.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm saying it backwards. It's been a long day already. Okay. So anyway, but that is the only upgrade guide item for .3. Now, it's also not abnormal to see upgrade guides after a .1, but it's not abnormal, but it's also not normal, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
It's much more common to have the text that occurs below. No notable changes requiring upgrade notes. That's much more common.
Okay. Anyway, I'm dwelling on the upgrade guide because just like today, a .3, if you were using this, it's like, what's going on? It all broke. Well, it's been fixed, but you would have had to come to the upgrade guide to figure out, oh, that's how I get around it.
Correct. And admittedly, this, to my mind, is relatively obscure, but we want to be sure that users know this, that administrators know this change happened. It's there for a reason.
Right. Okay. So again, lightweight bug fixes, a couple of simple enhancements, upgrading Windstone and Jetty.
Okay, this one we got to spend a minute on though, because there's a story hiding here. So the story for me is worth a minute to spend. All right,
Okay,
so
go for it.
Jetty 10, so the version that we've got here, Jetty 10, actually reached end of life for the Jetty project much earlier this year. January of 2024, they said we're not maintaining it, but they've done several releases since then. We wanted to be sure this release had the most recent version of Eclipse Jetty inside of it, because 4 weeks from now we will release based on Jetty 12. So this is the terminal release for us of Jetty 10 based Jenkins.
Okay. So, fair warning.
Right.
We'll get to that in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
More details. A developer extension, most people won't care.
Well, and that one, if you look at it, this is the security fix, or this is one of the security fixes. So yes, we described the security fixes. In this case, it's relative to that security issue.
Right. Major bug fix, no longer printing verbose and uninformative messages.
Yeah, and this one is don't overload I/O with writing messages we don't need. I think that's a good one. That's why it's listed a major bug fix. I/O matters really, really a lot. So let's not burden it with junk.
But I/O is, I'm just writing to disk. Why would that matter?
Absolutely. That's all it is. I'm just writing to disk.
Okay, let's take a look at the security advisory, because there was quite a bit here. There was a change for Jenkins Core, actually two, something for credentials plugin and OIC off as well.
Right.
So let's just take a look at, now, from a severity perspective, these were just mediums. So
right. So not the same, certainly not the same level of worry as we've had in several earlier releases where we had critical vulnerabilities that, hey, you've got to deal with this. This one, it's only a medium.
Right. That doesn't mean you shouldn't deal with it.
Right. It's just, right, exactly.
All right. So provides a secret text area form field for multi-line secrets. It could get exposed. Okay.
In the error messages.
In the error message.
In the system log. So it's not a common location. And if I remember correctly, is this one? Yeah, this one. Yeah. These actually could be clear text secret values, right?
Yes,
so
it could be.
Right.
Which is bad, by the way. Clear text passwords.
Writing clear text to a log, writing clear text passwords to a log is not a good thing. You don't want the administrators to be able to read it.
It is bad.
Right.
Okay, so item creation restriction. Okay, bypass vulnerabilities. Those are bad. So that's been put in place now. So that's good. Credentials was encrypted values. This goes back to what we did, that new extension point.
Right.
This
exactly.
is that mapping.
This is the matching thing in the credentials plugin.
Right. And then finally, the OIC auth, lack of audience claim. Just
right, and it had two different expressions of that same
true.
lack of claim. Right, one was audience, and the other was issuer.
Issuer, right. Variations on a theme, but that's
Right.
pretty much it.
Exactly.
So from that perspective, nice, easy release.
Right. Upgrade to the release. We encourage it. You don't want to be running a release with a known vulnerability, but those particular vulnerabilities just not as severe as some others we've seen.
Okay. So now at this point, that's it for knowing what's going on in the .3.
That is.
Do we want to talk about what's happening at the end of the month first before we get into the other things? Or do we want to get into the other things and then talk about that at the end? I want to talk about, okay, pulling back the curtain a little bit, we're going to talk about Hacktoberfest. Let's save Hacktoberfest for last.
Right. I think let's talk about end of month first, right? We've talked about releases, so crucial story for end of month. We've reached .3, right? Last release of the 2.462 LTS line. Release is done. New LTS baseline has been selected. It will be 2.479. Great. New LTS baseline. Crucial thing here is this new baseline will require Java 17. No more Java 11. This is 2.462.3 is the last LTS that will support Java 11. Java 17 or Java 21 are required beginning 30th of October. In addition to requiring Java 17, so that's the biggest impact for user perception. You must be on Java 17 or newer. It will also, though, upgrade us from Spring Security 5 to Spring Security 6, from Java EE8 to Jakarta EE9. And those two upgrades mean that you need to do the usual thing you do when performing an upgrade with Jenkins LTS. Upgrade your plugins, then upgrade Jenkins. And it's crucial that you do it. If you are an LDAP plugin user, you must do the LDAP plugin upgrade concurrent. It is a lockstep upgrade. So we've got next release, if you're an LDAP plugin user, you have to take some extra steps, and they'll be described in the upgrade guide, but that next release, October 30th, is crucial. It gets us onto Spring Security 6, valuable, and we've done great compatibility work, but LDAP plugin, you've got to do a lockstep upgrade.
It's going to be a big one. And we'll talk more about it once we're here. In fact, I'll go ahead and say it right now. We'll be back on October 31st at 4:30 Eastern to go through everything about 479.1.
Right. And that session, we'll probably spend an hour just talking through it, because it's a big change compared to other changes, right? Yeah. Users need to think as they go through that change.
Okay. So that's coming in 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. Nothing to get stressed about. But the thing is if you're not running on 17 or 21 yet with your Jenkins controller, LTS or weekly, actually weekly has been 17.
Yeah, weekly we've been that way for 6 or 8 weeks now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So weekly's already been there.
Yeah.
But really, Java 11 to the Jenkins project has reached end of life. Now, we've been warning people, we've been telling people with an administrative monitor in their Jenkins controller that Java was reaching end of life, and what we said was end of September. We're past end of September. It's really, Java 11 is end of life.
Yep. Next up, do you want to talk about elections? I think let's do elections.
Yes, election, let's Mark Waite pound on a thing a little bit. All right, so every year, the Jenkins Governance Board and the Jenkins officers do an election. This year, we've got it. So we've got 6 candidates nominated for the Jenkins Governance Board. And in a distinction, this year, we're actually electing for 3 places on the board. Usually, we would only elect 2. This time, it's 3. So Kosuke Kawaguchi has resigned from the board. Plus, we've got 2 other board members, Alex Brandis and Ulrich Hoffner, whose terms have ended. The 6 candidates are actually all of them fascinating contributors to Jenkins. So Alex Earl of Broadcom, of ARM Limited, sorry, used to be Broadcom, of ARM Limited now. Alex Brandis works for a card vending system in Germany. Chris Stern, they work for a startup in Hong Kong. Oleg Nanashev works for Gradle. Stefan Speaker for Schaeffler, and Valentin Delay is for another startup. Each of them serious contributors to Jenkins. Please read their profiles and make your choices. And be sure that big red button up on top, click that button to register to vote.
Let me click through to that and see what we see.
Great.
So it'll go over to the community site. And then from there, you would just click on.
So you can either click on login button or the sign up button.
Yep.
And it depends on which your preference is, right? For most of us, okay, for me, I like login because then I can use my GitHub credentials to authenticate to Discourse.
Right.
Other people may say, no, I don't really want any connection between GitHub and Discourse. So they could do a sign up. Either is valid.
Right. And I'm not going to sign up right now. But
no need.
That's that. And then also, you sort of waved it off. We also have nominees this year for release officer.
Correct.
Two separate. Which has been different from the past couple of years.
It is. So we're very grateful that Tim and Alex are both interested in and willing to serve as release officer. Read their biographies, read their candidate statements, and you can make your choice.
Okay. And voting will start when?
Starts November 1, ends November 30th, and then the announcement will happen in December.
And when does registration close?
Registration closes the 31st of October.
Okay. And we probably should go ahead and put that date here, too, at the top.
Actually, I intentionally left it off because it's in the other blog post.
Okay. Right, because this is the statements.
Right. So 2 or 3 or 4 days ago, I did this voter registration thing, right? And this one definitely says, hey, we close voter registration 31st of October.
Right. Okay.
I was trying to keep the register here button above the fold.
Yep. I was thinking I'd seen it, and that's fine, because I hadn't looked at the candidate statement yet. Anyway, okay. So election's coming up. Now, the big thing is, right now it's October, also known in our world as Hacktober. So HOBERFEST started, what is today, the 3rd, a couple days ago.
Right.
If you haven't signed up yet, the Jenkins project, much like it has in the past few years, is participating again. The repositories that are participating will have a Hacktoberfest, not label, what's the word?
Topic.
Thank you. Topic assigned to it. We'll take a look at one in just a minute.
Right.
So I haven't signed up yet. So we're going to go through the sign up process.
Great.
So start hacking. You can authorize with GitHub or with GitLab. So, whichever way you're going to go. With Jenkins, though, it's all on GitHub. So you've got to use GitHub.
Whichever one you use, you're going to have to use GitHub to contribute to Jenkins.
Correct. So then I have to log in. And this one doesn't have any passwords in it, so I have to go to my thing. So I'll copy my password. I'll sign in. Now I have to go find my
2-factor authentication. Good choice. Very good. We like that.
Yeah, and y'all will see it, but it just won't matter because there's a reason why it's called a TOTP. Because it's just one time.
Exactly.
Okay, there's that. Then you're going to be, it's like, hey, do you want to authorize? The answer is yes. If you want to
okay, and before you say yes, it's only sharing your personal user data, right?
Email address and profile information.
Exactly. So this is not sharing repository access. You're not risking private repositories. It's a very narrow set of things that they're actually authorized for.
Correct. So we'll authorize it, then we'll get redirected, and there I am.
There you are.
A little less gray. A little more gray today. Then you go through, set up your levels. I'll say familiar. Yeah, no,
go on. You're experienced.
That's true. Okay, code and non-code. Yeah, I don't mind because non-code is very helpful. Am I enrolled as a student? Thankfully, no. Job role. What am I? What do we have today?
What are the choices?
A lot. Here, let me zoom up a little bit.
I clicked manager when I clicked mine, if I remember
Really?
right.
You did that?
I know. Fessing up, confessing my guilt.
Let's see. Okay, so we have other. No. Marketing, educator, freelance, open source contributor. Okay, I'm going to keep that one in mind. Product manager, not games. Used to. Embedded. That would be fun again. Engineering manager. Oh, that's you now. Development consultant, QA, DevOps specialist. No, not anymore. Well, I guess it could be. Not the day job. You know what? I don't see my day job here. So I am going to go, unfortunately, with... Oh, wait, there's a few more there. Founder. No, I'm not a founder today. What do you think, Mark? What should I be? Who cares?
I am open to any.
Let's just say software development consultant.
Perfect.
That sounds better than other.
Right.
Like country.
Great.
Go down. Oh, dear. No, I'm not from there.
Not from Curacao, huh?
Come on. A little bit more. Obviously, you can do this much faster when you're not under pressure watching things.
Sure.
Marketing opt-ins. Okay, here. DigitalOcean, thank you for making the default. Don't email me.
Well, and thank you for sponsoring Hacktoberfest.
Thank you for sponsoring Hacktoberfest and comma. Thank you for making the default. So I'm going to bypass on that. I acknowledge the resources provided. Yep.
Yes, agreed.
I acknowledge the resources provided and understand how to participate with quality
Yes.
contributions.
Please do not spam open source projects in the name of Hacktoberfest. That is a shameful thing to do.
With that being said, I will be disqualified indefinitely from Hacktoberfest
Right.
if I submit
Right.
2 or more
Do not spam.
Okay. And then we have to accept everything for there. And then we click on register. So the initial sign up doesn't actually register you. You've got to get through this page first.
Right.
And then you can go through here. And I have not gotten anything done yet. How can we solve that, Mark? Well, we have a few things. So starting on Monday at, let me look at my notes. Monday the 7th at 4 p.m. Eastern. For the next 4 weeks, we're going to be doing, 3.5 weeks. We'll be doing sessions on Monday and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, except for the last Monday, it's going to be at 4:30 Eastern, because that week is also the release week for 479. Mm-hmm. So that second one will be on, instead of being on Wednesday, it'll be on Thursday, and we'll do our wrap-up then. So we have, if you haven't watched our plugin modernization series that we did 3 years ago. I can't believe it's been 3 years. I thought it was 2, but it's 3.
Right. No.
It was in 21 during the height of everybody being locked in the house. We're going to extend on that some more because, gee, go figure, things within the Jenkins project have changed over 3 years.
They have.
So we're going to be sort of adding in some things that are now part of the modern plugin, if you will. And then we'll be taking a look at some other things throughout the rest of the month. So feel free to join us here live. Again, it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern, all except for that very last Monday. It'll be 4:30. And then if you miss it live, great. Just watch the replays. It'll be on YouTube. You can watch them immediately afterwards. No editing involved. So actually, that's a lie. I turn off the 5-minute countdown. But that happens the next day. I don't want to give away too much more, but other than the first one being, we're doing a couple extra things that are now part of what we consider modern, which didn't exist 3 years ago for us.
Right.
So,
Like you said, 3 years has been enough time that what it means to be a modern Jenkins plugin has changed. Right? It's improved.
and it's going to change even more after October 31st or October 30th.
Right. In fact, I realize that I've got an example that we may put onto our agenda of how to deal with things that are coming October 31st, and we can talk about them already, because I've got a sample that shows it. And it's a sample that matters to me, something about Git.
It does interest you, that's for sure. To Elkin, hi, Darin, Mark, everyone from the Alma Linux OS Foundation. Hi. Great to watch the live streams. Go ahead and upgrade with joy and all the positive energy for your talks. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks to Alma Linux. We appreciate very much.
Let's see here. Upgrading instances on unsupported distros. I don't know that I ever did that. I'll take a look
Yeah.
at that.
Well, so
I'll
if
consider
you, yeah,
because I always did fresh installations, but never a migration.
yeah.
From an OS.
So OS level migration, particularly on those candidate OSs, is interesting. It's usually copy the files and install a fresh OS.
Right. I would go to a new machine because
Right.
if I have an old machine, even if it's an old VM, I'm probably going to get a new one anyway, just
Right.
because. But yeah, that's a good idea. Anything else for today?
Nothing from me.
Feel like we've got everything. So again, it's HOBERFEST. We'll be coming at you twice a week, live, Mondays and Wednesdays, except for the last week, that'll be Monday and Thursday. If you're not getting ready for the release on October 30th, if you're not on Java 17 yet, get on Java 17. Start exercising that
Yep.
now in your current environment.
Mm-hmm.
Do your backups. Upgrade your plugins.
Well, and the nicety is the version you're running now, if you're running 2.462, it runs Java 17 just fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for a new version of Jenkins to switch to Java 17. In fact, you can switch to Java 21 on that version. So please don't delay. It's time to get on to Java 17 or Java 21.
Yep. Unfortunately, one of my servers is just going to go off to rest forever because there's no Java 17 available for the architecture.
Yeah, well, okay. Now you're talking like one of mine where I've got a machine that runs an operating system that's no longer supported, back to the comment there, and therefore it's not getting an upgrade either. It's just getting powered off. Yep. That's the way the game goes.
Okay. So we'll see everybody back here on Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll do some more plugin modernization. There, I said it finally right. Okay, that took a little bit. And then we'll sort of see where it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks, everybody. Today is Thursday. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend. And we will talk to you again starting on Monday.